Hello, this video is sponsored by BritBox, the premier streaming service for Britain's most beloved TV shows. With St. Patrick's Day just around the corner, I thought now would be the perfect time to get an Irish person's insight into some of the culture shocks they've experienced while visiting the United States. And by pure coincidence, I found this Irish person on the streets of Chicago. And spookier still, this Irish person happens to be fellow YouTube sensation Diane Jennings. Diane, welcome.
Thank you. Can you move over if I'm going to sit here?
Yes. And today we're going to talk about some of the culture shocks that Diane has experienced on her visit to not just Chicago, but other places in the United States. If, like me, you can't wait to hear what Diane has to say and you haven't had a chance to subscribe to her channel, do that now. In the meantime, let's walk and talk to look more important. Now, you've chosen to visit Chicago in February. Do you think it's important to suffer for your art?
I think it's very important, and I'm suffering right now.
It's freezing, isn't it?
It's a bit cold.
Like the rest of the week's actually been unseasonably warm for this time of year.
Thank you for choosing an outdoor shoot.
You're welcome.
You like to walk and talk because you think it makes you look smart, huh?
Yeah, and then I realised that I didn't prepare for the weather. Do you want to, should we head back to the hotel?
Let's.
Do that?
We could have just clicked in.
They say snapped in America.
Snapped.
So this is by no means your first visit to the United States. What would you say has been your biggest culture shock in all of the times you've visited?
Probably the personal space. Like, people give you personal space in the United States, and as an ambivert, I find that I quite enjoy the personal space, but sometimes, especially Scandinavian people stand there in Europe. So yeah, I like that.
That's good. What do you think about the toilet cubicles that have a big gap in them?
Oh my God, big gap. I was doing it the other day, a thing in the cubicle, and I was literally there were people outside and they were like, is there someone in there? Oh, there is. And I was like, that's invasive in a personal space way that I was not familiar with.
It almost feels like they can see you.
They can see you.
They can they? Did anybody stare?
No, they checked, but that was sufficiently more than I actually wanted looked at on the loo.
I can imagine. An American once said to me, Lawrence, I love your accent, but Irish ones are way nicer. And sitting with you here right now, I do feel a deep sense of inferiority. But I do have a question. Have you been asked about your accent while traveling around America?
I have been asked a little bit about my accent. I don't have a very strong Irish accent, thanks to speech and drama lessons. But yeah, I do get asked about it a little bit, but a lot of times people jump to Canadian rather than Irish because I guess that's a shorter trip. But when you say Ireland, they're like, ah. But they are a little surprised when you don't sound like a Lucky Charms leprechaun sometimes.
Are you a leprechaun? Or?
I am not. I'm over 5'6". I actually didn't realise, but I'm actually considered tall in America.
And what about in Ireland?
In Ireland, no. I think the national average height of a woman is about within that area.
Definitely not a leprechaun.
Not a leprechaun.
Right. In one of your videos, you made the mind-blowing observation that there are more Americans that identify with Irish ancestry than there are Irish people living in Ireland today.
Yeah.
Do you ever worry that a fight might break out between the two factions, and if so, who would win?
The Americans have more guns.
More guns and more people.
More guns and more people, but we are the fighting Irish. So we'd probably just make you all really, really drunk, because I don't think the Americans are very good at drunk fighting.
Right.
And we excel at it. So
because you have a head start of 3 years, 18 versus 21. Mm-hmm. And I think some of you are probably drinking before 18, let's be honest.
It's not a secret.
Sorry, are we not going to address the continuity fairy in the room here? Shall we play spot the difference with the lighting and the hair and the costumes?
I can see this being at least a good fight.
It would be good televised fighting.
And if televised fighting is your cup of tea, then actually look no further than Britain. Or should I say, BritBox, a streaming service with a veritable collection of delightfully gritty British crime dramas, which is much easier to say now that I don't drink. And one of those crime dramas is Death in Paradise. Diane, I imagine you're familiar with that show because series 6 to 9 features Irish legend Ardal O'Hanlon, who I assume you're friends with. Hello. And for those of you who like to stay current, Series 13 or Season 13, if you're American, launched earlier this month. You can stream your other favourite British shows via your smartphone, tablet, desktop, Chromecast, Apple TV or Roku device, as well as LG and Samsung smart TVs. Head to BritBox.com/LostInThePond and use the promo code LOSTINTHEPOND when signing up for a monthly subscription, and you'll get 50% off your first month. The link is also in my description below. Americans love their Irish things. Guinness, St. Patrick's Day, Cillian Murphy. What are, if anything, some of the Irish things that you've encountered in Chicago this week?
Ooh, me?
Yes, you. Or you yourself, yes. Yeah. That's cheating.
Well, there's a lot of Irish flags everywhere, and I think that's probably because Americans are so in touch with their ancestry. Yeah. Certainly in Britain and in Ireland, we don't really care that much about it. Where you came from as an American person is so important that, like, having flags and stuff like that is good to have.
Yeah.
Irish pubs everywhere.
Have you been
Chicago.
to any Irish pubs?
Yeah, I'm reviewing Irish pubs on my channel. Nice. Usually when I go to a state, I will do like one video, but I might have to do 2 Irish pub videos for Chicago because there's just so many.
Oh, which ones have you been to? Do you remember the names of any?
Mrs. Murphy and Sons.
Is that Cillian's mum?
No.
No.
But probably related, because
could be related.
We're a very small country.
This question comes from my wife's cousin Chad on Twitter. You attended the St. Patrick's Day parade in New York City. As an Irish person yourself, how did that compare to festivities back home, and did you throw up more?
I didn't throw up at all that particular day.
Chad,
because I made the mistake of thinking at that time I needed to film the video and get it out in the same day. However, it was a very, very big parade.
Yeah.
Like a lot. I don't think we even saw it through to the very end.
Oh.
And also like enthusiasm for Irishness. Like when you just are Irish, you're like, oh, I'm Irish, everyone's Irish.
Yeah.
When you're like an Irish person from Ireland in an Irish parade, everyone's like, so exciting.
And was this sort of thing on a bigger scale than the sorts of parades you might have in Ireland on St. Patrick's?
Big time. And you know what the funny thing about the Dublin parade, that is like the main one I've been to, is that we import the Americans. Like we have the Irish-American marching band, Irish-American, jig dancers.
And I heard that you and all your friends really love it when Americans say St. Patty's Day versus St. Paddy's Day. And that's correct, is it?
There's a lot of things we can joke about, Lawrence,
but not that.
That actually hurts. This green thing might be tougher than I thought.
St. Patrick's Day is so popular here that people reprimand others for not wearing green by pinching them.
I know, that's not even a thing back home.
I was going to ask, are Americans just better at handling lawsuits?
No, I think they just like a reason to pinch people.
Ron from accounts, where I used to work, he pinched me once on St. Patrick's Day. I was wearing green.
Frowned upon.
In your many taste tests of American foods, what has been the food item that you've loved the most? And, because we know that negativity breeds clicks, which is one that you absolutely hated?
Oh my gosh, you put me on the spot. Something in Texas? Texas barbecue!
Was it amazing?
Texas barbecue. Yum, 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 yum. Now some of my viewers might be watching and they'll be like, no, Diane, you preferred, and you're probably right. I'm just put on the spot here by Lawrence. So, What did I hate? Do you know what? I have an enthusiasm for spiciness, but as an Irish person, we don't handle the spiciness as well as our brave face would have you think.
Yeah.
I think I've imported some things that are super spicy for spicy challenges, and no.
Well, Diane, it's been an absolute pleasure.
I wish I could say the same.
And I'm sure that I speak for everybody when I say that we'd absolutely love to have you on as a guest in the future again.
Maybe someday.
Well, I know the Brits have this whole keep calm and carry on thing, but not addressing these continuity issues does seem to be a massive oversight, Lawrence. Keep calm, carry on.
If you weren't paying attention at the start of this video, please subscribe to Diane's channel now.
It's very bossy the way you say it.
You've got to make them do it, because otherwise they won't. Any parting words?
Goodbye, Lawrence.
See ya. I think that's it. I think that's a wrap.
Okay.
I think we're good.
Do you know where the subway is? I'll show you. It's really great.
I know where it is. I live in
This way.
Chicago. You're chucking me out.
Get
What are you
out.
doing? Well, enjoy your stay in Chicago, and I'll be in touch about the edit. That must have just been Irish sarcasm. Hey. Hey, listen, Max, I just got kicked out of another interview. Yeah, hey, but this'll make you happy. We managed to film 2 videos, right? One for my channel and one that's going to go on her channel in the near future, unless, you know, she burns all of the footage like Mr. Beast did. With my connections, I could have made him huge. Anyway, goodbye, Max. Oh, that's Mum. Sorry. Sorry, Mum. Thought it was Max.